So while I've got the whole rig set up for making videos, I thought I'd do another little reading. I've been promising myself that I would, and I thought I'd do a reading from the same story that I read from at the Whitby Gothic Gathering this weekend. This is from a story called The World Weavers, which is my take on high fantasy. And in this world of mine, stories and storytellers have power, and they do battle with that power. They set their stories against each other and see who has the strongest and best story to tell. Interestingly, this extract from this story has a line specifically inspired, strangely enough, by a session I had my first experience with acupuncture as part of some physio. And there is a line in this particular reading inspired by that particularly strange process of having someone penetrate your flesh with sharp things. See if you can spot the line as we read from The World Weavers. It starts one-sided, and so it continues. Even before he's fully surveyed the arena, they're on him like a pack of hungry jackals. Individually, not one of these dog soldiers is warrior enough to face such an experienced fighter, but together in a circling, slashing, constantly moving melee, they nip at his heels, stab at his constantly whirling back, whittle away his flagging strength, but not without cost. First one, then another falls, bleeding and defeated, but each only dies after landing yet another debilitating cut. Sword and skin red with his dead enemy's blood and his own, the warrior circles and feints and desperately tries to keep eyes on the last two, even as they look for his weakness. With blood and sweat blurring his eyes, fast flagging energy and still open wounds stealing away his vitality, they spot their opportunity and move in for the kill. The feint should have been from the one before him, while the real threat came from the rear. But these last two have learnt from their comrades' deaths, and when it comes, the blade that takes him comes from the front. It slides into his guts, where it is gripped tight by his own flesh as his last desperate breath is expelled and his body contracts on the filthy, chipped blade. But even as he takes that killing blow, the veteran warrior delivers one in return. As the two dying men sink to their knees, life draining from both, the last remaining dog soldier steps in to slit the throat of his dying enemy, only to freeze with his knife outstretched and eyes wide before sinking to the arena floor, dead from the thrust delivered by a sobbing boy with a knife gifted to him by his newly dead father. The keeper of book watches through narrowing eyes as dispute is settled and angry challenger is forced to hand over his quill to the silent and stoic storyteller. Even as the vanquished man looms over her, so obviously displeased with the world weaver's adjudication and the clear agreement of the tear-stained audience, the smaller woman remains eerily calm. It's like she knew. What was that, Master Keeper? Soy, doesn't that reprobate Brendan have need of you at festival time? Red hair tossed back, Soy laughs in that saucy way of confident serving wenches the world over. Brendan has need of me at all times, Master Keeper. How else would he keep his bed warm? But while the weavers tell their tales, it's better I give him time to prepare the evening repast and study the rumps of the younger girls without fear of my sharp tongue. And what do you make of all this? His nod takes in the crowd of people still tussling with their own stirred-up emotions, debating the most recent battle and celebrating the unexpected and unusual manner of its resolution. Situation weighed and measured to the last jot, Soy shrugs. There's a strength in that one I've not seen since Gwydion first came to Brendan's tavern and thought to charm a young girl into his bed for lack of the purse to pay for it. It's clear from the pause the keeper is imagining such an exchange and not finding it too horrible to contemplate. Soy laughs again. I'll confess, Brendan's bed stayed cold that night, and that young weaver left with many a tale to tell. The keeper shakes his head at Soy's unabashed joy. But now she's the one contemplating the slight storyteller as she carefully places another victory quill in her pack. Gwydion used to be hungry and passionate and had imagination. But this girl, a man would be fooled to underestimate this one. Even a man with the Queen's golden quill. That was an extract from The World Weavers, available now in some good bookshops and on this very website. Thanks for watching. Hope to see you again.